Hey fellow dadpreneurs, are you struggling with Facebook advertising and the 9 million acronyms that you need to keep track of, like CPM, CPC, CPL, CPA, AOV, ROI, ROAS, CPC, CTR? There's a million different acronyms. So what should you focus on? What shouldn't you focus on? Which ones are important? Which ones aren't? This is a common question. I'm going to dive in this video and talk about it. Hey fellow dadpreneurs, my name is Adam Dukes and I help dads escape employment by building a wildly profitable online business so they can enjoy more dad time. So I had a recent comment on a YouTube video of mine asking about the importance of CPM and a couple of other metrics, and I kind of went off on a little bit of a rant on this guy a couple of weeks ago, so I decided to turn it into a full YouTube video. So I'm going to show you the primary KPIs, key performance indicators that you should be focusing on, and then the secondary KPIs, the key performance indicators that you should be focusing on as well. The primary ones are the same KPIs that businesses focused on 50, 60, 70 years ago, way before Facebook, before Zuckerberg was even born, way before the internet was even a thing. And these are the primary metrics you should focus on now. So let's dive right in. Facebook advertising economics. So this was a comment I got on a YouTube video of mine 3 weeks ago. As you can see, it says, "Hey Adam, I'm trying to run retargeting campaigns off the advice you gave me off TikTok, but my CPMs are high on my retargeting campaigns, even higher than my cold audience. Any advice?" This is to be expected. Your CPMs are going to be extremely high, especially on retargeting, especially when getting started. It's going to be a much smaller audience. However, it's a much more relevant audience as well. You have to remember that. A lot of people look at CPM and they try to decrease it, but typically when your CPMs are high, it's going to be a much more relevant audience. I like relevancy over low CPMs myself. Not to say CPMs aren't important, but that's kind of a secondary KPI, and we're going to get into the primary KPIs you should look for, and then also the secondary ones. So I'm not saying CPM's not important, but I really don't focus on it too terribly much. Like I said, retargeting, you're going to expect to pay higher CPMs. I told him I'll happily pay $100 CPM. I'll happily pay $200, $500 CPM, $1,000 CPM. I really don't care as long as my primary KPIs are within the range that I'm aiming for. And we're going to dive into the primary and the secondary KPIs right here. So again, these are primary KPIs. These were the same metrics 50, 60, 70 years ago in business. They're going to be the same metrics 50, 60, 70 years ago, whether Facebook's around or not, whether the internet's around, it doesn't matter. These are the three KPIs that I constantly focus on with any online advertising. It really doesn't matter if it's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Google, Yahoo, LinkedIn, Snapchat, TikTok ads. It really doesn't matter. So CPA is cost per acquisition. How much does it cost you to generate a sale, a customer, or this could be a lead as well. CPA, how much does it cost to generate a lead, maybe, if that's what you're measuring. AOV is average order value. How much money are they spending on that initial order? That's what you want to focus on. That's another one. And I'll get into a couple examples here towards the end of the slides. And then LTV, one of my favorite metrics, one of the most important metrics in all of business, whether it's an online business or an offline business, it really doesn't matter. LTV is something so crucial. You want to fix any business problem if money is an issue with any business. I don't care what industry it is, online or offline, focus on increasing your LTV and that will melt away any money problem. So lifetime value is, I got the little formula here. This is a rough formula. It's not the exact one, but it's a good idea. So you take the total revenue, let's say total revenue for 2020, just last year. So how much revenue you generated in 2020? How many new customers did you get in 2020? Then divide those two. So revenue divided by number of customers for 2020, that's going to give you a pretty good estimate of LTV, of your lifetime value of your customers for 2020. I used to consult with local businesses. One of the first questions I would ask is, what is your LTV? They looked at me like I just landed in their parking lot in a spaceship and I had tentacles out of my head. They had no idea what the hell I was talking about. Which is sad because business owners, you should know LTV, at least a general, a rough estimate of it. You don't have to have down to the penny, but a rough estimate of your LTV is very important. So here are the secondary KPIs that you'll find in just about any online advertising platform. So CPM is cost per milli. I think it's Latin, I believe, but it's the cost to show your ad to 1,000 people. This is a pretty standard metric in pretty much all online advertising. So CPM, this is what this gentleman, I think Anthony was his name, was struggling with. His CPM was high. His ad was costing a lot more money to show show to 1,000 people than it typically is, because it's retargeting and it's relevant. That's to be expected. Another one is CTR, click-through rate. So if your ad is shown to 100 people and 3 people click on your ad, that would be a 3% click-through rate. Typically, I aim for 1.5% or higher. That's kind of my benchmark myself. It depends. There's some variables, what type of objective you pick in Facebook, but I know if I'm under 1.5%, something is wrong with my ad and or my audience and or targeting, and I need to make some adjustments. The higher your CTR, the lower your cost per click, typically. CPC is cost per click. So how much does it cost for someone to click on your ad? And as you can see, they all do relate to each other. ROI is return on investment. So you put $1 in, how much money are you getting back? Are you getting $1 back? Are you getting $1.10 back? Are you getting $3 back? Some of these yahoos here on YouTube and TikToks will tell you they get 40x ROI on every single campaign. What they don't show you is the 900 campaigns that they got negative 500 ROI. They don't show you that part. They just show you the single campaign that they knock it out of the park. But typically with ROI, I don't look at it why I have it in the secondary KPIs, I don't look at it as that much, because again, I'm looking at average order value, cost per acquisition, lifetime value. Those are the 3 metrics that are my primary KPIs that I look for. You might move the ROI in your primary category. I just don't look at it as much or put as much weight on it. Most Facebook advertisers look at ROI, and then this next one is ROAS, return on ad spend, or ROAS. So I answered his question, and he got back and said, thanks for the advice. I will look into that new metric, Adam, what I was talking about with the KPIs that I shared. Any chance of the retargeting CPM ever going down if I get more traffic through my pixel eventually? Or are retargeting CPMs going to always be higher? Yes, they're always going to be higher because the audience is going to be much smaller. It's going to be much more relevant. The CPMs being high in retargeting, your cost per acquisition should be very, very, very low, which is a very, very good thing. So who cares what your CPM is if your CPA is extremely, extremely low? So yes, your retargeting ads are typically going to be much higher CPM. Now, if you have thousands of thousands in your retargeting audience, your CPM can certainly start dropping the bigger the audience gets. And it says, I like to get, and then I told those 3 primary KPIs are the ones you should be focusing on. And then he said, I'd like to get my ad in front of a lot of people, so CPMs determine how much I have to spend to get in front of 1,000 people for each audience. A lot of people have this mindset, and it's the wrong mindset. This is the mindset you want. This is what you want to focus on. You want to get your ad in front of the right people, not the most people. I could advertise to the whole world, and my CPMs would be very, very low. I could advertise to people in third world countries where your CPMs are going to be 50 cents, maybe $1, $1.50, but it's not relevant. It's not the right people. They're never going to buy. That's my problem with when you focus on CPM. You want to focus on the right people. So how to print money? Here is the calculation to print money. It's very, very, very simple. Don't be shocked by how simple it is. If your cost per acquisition is less than your average order value, you can literally print money with Facebook advertising or any online advertising. It doesn't matter. So let's say your average order value is $15 and it costs you $10 to get a customer. You give Facebook $10, they give you $15 back. How much money are you going to spend on Facebook? Infinity. You're going to continue spending. So this is the formula right here. Any paid advertising specialist, any type of paid advertising, this is what you want to get, is your CPA lower than your AOV, and you can literally print money. So how to lower your CPAs, how to lower the cost per acquisition. There's a number of ways to lower your cost per acquisition. So one would be retargeting. Like I said, the CPMs are going to be higher, but typically these are people who landed on your site, your store, whatever it is that you're selling, and you want to remind them to come back. Maybe they forgot, maybe someone was at the door, the pizza guy was, the kids were running around the house, and they forgot to finish the checkout purchase. So you want to retarget those people, get in front of them. Also tracking. I talk about tracking all the time. I just did a video about it up here, about the importance of tracking. You must track your ads. I see far too many people not tracking it at all. They just look at the Facebook kind of dashboard, which is good. However, I like tracking with a Google spreadsheet, and I am very meticulous with my tracking, and I do it every single day. And I can kind of see where I can see trends and when things are moving in the right direction. More importantly, when things are moving in the wrong direction, I can catch it rather quickly. If things start trending downwards within 3 or 4 days, I'm going to catch it because I track it and I always have my eyeballs on my spreadsheet. Another one is test. Test. Most marketers, most Facebook advertisers, I'd say 98%, if not 99.9%, don't test nearly enough. I talk to so many people, they threw up one ad or two ads and then they say Facebook ads don't work. I talk about this all the time. I got started with Facebook advertising in 2012. It was late 2012, so it's probably been a little over 8 years. And I would say still to this day, 75% of my ads still fail. It's all about throwing a bunch of shit against the wall and seeing what works. So you want to test different creatives, you want to test different placements, you want to test different devices, different demographics. There's so many different things you can test. Different audiences, long copy versus short copy. I'm a big fan of that. I actually just did a video on the importance of that and some of the other Facebook advertising things that I do for tests. Here's the thing. You can only lower your CPA so much. Don't spend too much time, money, and energy trying to lower that CPA. You know, if you're whittling down 50 cents per cost per acquisition, it can be a lot of wasted time. What's better to focus on is increasing your average order value. That's much easier and it's going to be much more profitable. Not to say don't try to lower your CPA, but there's going to be a certain point where you can't lower it much more. It's much easier to add to your AOV, and I'm going to show you a couple of examples here in a second. So how to increase your AOV, add order bumps. These are things on the checkout page, typically right below, right after they submit their credit card information, there'll be some type of an order bump. Hey, this is an additional thing. Think of it like when you're checking out at the grocery store, the candy bars, the bubble gum. You know, my kids love that shit and they always throw it in the grocery basket. And we always end up getting it. That's kind of what an order bump is. It's kind of in the grocery line. Hey, we're here. This looks good. This is convenient. Obviously, it has to be congruent with your offer and all of that. Having upsells, having downsells. And again, these are plural. Multiple upsells, multiple downsells, selling higher ticket items. How to increase your LTV. So this is lifetime value. The first one was average order value. So that's just at the point of transaction. This one is how to increase lifetime value. So the lifetime, they are a customer of yours. So what you can do is sell, again, higher ticket items, email follow-up with your current customers that bought that front-end product, continue emailing them, having a strategy in place to continue to try to upsell them different products and or services. You could offer coaching, consulting, masterminds, retreats. You could offer done-for-you programs. You could offer done-with-you programs, done-for-you services, all kinds of things to focus on increasing that LTV. That should be one thing you're constantly looking at, is increasing that LTV over time, however you can do it. So funnel economics. So this is my Dadpreneur Freedom Funnel. This is what I'm running currently. And it is the front end offer is $7. The order bump is $17. So I'm going to add the average order value. I'm going to show you how to come up with it. So at let's just say 30% take the order bump. So what you do is 30% times the price of the order bump would be $5.10 that I would add to the average order value. I have an upsell for $47. Let's say the take rate is 25%. So what you would do is do 25% times the price of the upsell, and that's going to give you $11.75 to add to my average order value. So here's my AOV, $7 that front end book right here, plus $5.10 from the order bump, plus $11.75 from the upsell. So my average order value is $23.85. So I can spend up to $23.85, my CPA, to get a customer from Facebook, YouTube, wherever it is I'm advertising. Currently I'm Facebook and YouTube right now. But $23.85 is my average order value. So here's one more, same exact funnel. Let's just pretend I added an upsell. I want to show you the difference, the jump, the leap your average order value can make with just one simple upsell. So again, front end offer is 7, order bump is 17, it's going to convert at 30%. The upsell is 47, it's going to convert at 25%. Again, all the same thing from the previous slide, but we're going to add one additional upsell, just one, $197. So let's say 10% of people take that. So that's adding $19.70 to the average order value. So now I'm at $43.55. The last slide I was around $23. So I added just about $20 to my average order value. This doesn't include adding a downsell or two. Again, you want to constantly be trying to increase that average order value so you can spend more money to acquire more customers. There you have it. It becomes a simple math problem. It really, really does. Once you know your metrics, and obviously once you start running advertisements on Facebook or YouTube or wherever you're running advertisements, it's going to take probably 1 to 3 months to kind of get your numbers and kind of know your metrics and where you're at with everything. But once you get those things dialed in and you know your cost per acquisition, your average order value, it becomes very, very powerful. And it's really just a simple math problem. CPA is lower than my ALV. I can print money to as far as I want. So that's it. That's the Facebook advertising economics. Hey, if you like these types of videos, make sure you click subscribe down below. Click that little bell notification because I release 2 videos each and every week for your viewing pleasure. Hey, I just released my book right up here, Dadpreneur Freedom. It shows you how to write, publish, and profit from selling simple little ebooks. And I got a crazy guarantee. If you write and publish your first ebook within 48 hours, you shoot me over a link, I will become your first customer. There's a link down below. You can check it out. It's only $7. You simply can't beat it. You write it, you publish it, you shoot me over a link, I will purchase it. You're guaranteed to make money. There's not an offer like this online, not that I've seen, and I've checked just about every corner of the internet. Anyways, as always, thank you so much for watching. I truly do appreciate it.